Hi, welcome to this Master Reviews and Tutorials video. We're putting a new battery in this key and we've had to cut it open. This style here, have a look on the back. If there's no opening here, then you actually have to cut it open and re-glue it. What you need is a sharp knife like that, and you'll be very careful with your fingers, but getting into that gap and cutting it, and it's not easy. It's really quite hard, but you've got to get in and go little bit by little bit and work your way through. This is cut open, and as you can see here, you've actually got to cut through a track of glue to get in where you're going, and inside it is this little circuit board, so you can't go and stick this in way deep on the key because you're going to be scraping across here, and you could do some damage. So it really is a bit of work and take a bit of time to get it. This is the circuit board inside. You can see your 3 buttons on the front here. There's little black buttons there, 1, 2, 3, and the battery has gone flat on this. This is held in with 2 solder points, and they are there and there. The solder points right there and right there. So we're going to have to heat those up. In America, that's called solder, soldering iron. In Australia, England, it's called a soldering iron. What we're going to do is heat that up and then pull that battery out. And then I've gone online. I've got links in the description. Have a look for buying this sort of stuff. You've got to get the right battery. See, it doesn't have one link here and one over the side. It's one here and one here. That's the right one for the BMW Key. And the battery is VL2020, 3 volt. So there you go. All right, so I've got a pair of pliers here. Have a look at these. Now, as I said, I'll put some links through to some tools. What we're actually going to have to do once we get those 2 solder points heated up is separate out the battery. So they've got a spring on them. They are going to cause that natural, you can grab hold of it and lift it out, or just stick it under there and let the spring lift it and pull it out. So the biggest thing to remember about circuit boards is you see the little track going around there. That actually joins the current across all of those dots that are on there. So if you've got these dots here, they're not joined, and you've got your solder here from your battery. What you don't want to do is run, if you're putting more solder on or taking solder off, you don't want to end the solder going anywhere else. You can't just have it flowing everywhere. You've got to keep it within the confines of what it is there. Now that's another track. You see the track going around, and that block there is another track, so they're all joined together as well. And you see the solder is actually going over onto that track. That's how the circuit board works. So the soldering iron we've got, this is a little instant one for electronics, a nice little fine point for doing what we want to do. Turn it on, and it only heats when you press the button. So we're going to get this nice and hot. It's pretty quick, this one. And then heat these up. Coming from this side, we can heat it up and see how we go pressing the battery terminals. You can see them sticking through there and there. So heat this up. You can smell it. If you've got a piece of paper, you can check how hot it's going, because it will actually burn paper. You can see the solder starting to come off it. Sometimes they'll smoke when they get hot enough. There, that's melting that solder straight away. So we press that down like that, and press that down. Just get it hot, melt the solder, or solder, whichever one sounds right to your ears. There we go, melting it. Press it down. Now is when we're going to need those pliers. See, it's already lifted that much and that much off the battery. Put the pliers in there so that it has that spring. So what I've done, I've grabbed hold of the post with the pliers, and I can just press the board just to put that bit of lift into it. So I just need to melt that blob of solder again. Here we go. Once that's liquid, like that. It's a pretty cold day here and pretty cold environment, so as soon as I take the iron off, it's going solid. There it is, it's out. That's one. Okay, that's it. The old battery's out. So now we get the new battery. You can see the slot in the keyboard there and the smaller pin there. Again, that's going to get you the right way around. So one's in. in place. So the second one, you just, while you're putting a bit of pressure on the back, you heat up the solder and then bang, it just comes straight through like that. So that's now in place and down tight. Make sure that one's in place and down tight as well. Then the next step, I'm going to get a bit of some side cutters because those tabs are quite a bit longer than the other batteries. So I'll just clip them off and then I'll make sure there's a really good connection. And okay, so we've soldered the new battery in, got really good connections. I soldered both sides, got it all in, and the remote still wasn't working. Now, of course, if that battery wasn't the problem in the first place, it's not going to fix it. No, I've got my multimeter out here, and this is a 3-volt battery. So I just wanted to check if the new battery I'd put in, you show the multimeter, was actually showing a voltage. And there you go. It is showing a voltage, so, and I know it's connected. So then I thought, all right, get the old battery and see if it was actually flat. And when I put the multimeter onto the old battery, it's also showing 3 volts, showing negative 3 volts, but I'll just switch the polarity of the multimeter around. See, it's showing 3 volts. So there was nothing wrong with the old battery. This remote had broken, not because it had a flat battery, but because something else. I've only just bought this car, so maybe it had been immersed and gotten wet or something like that. But sadly, a new battery is not going to fix it. But anyway, I've shown you how to switch the battery out. And yeah, before you go and buy a battery, when you get this apart, you can just put a multimeter on the 2 terminals of the battery here and just see if it is in actual fact flat, which will help you out. But sadly, this one, there is something else wrong, so this key needs to be replaced. So of course the key, even in that condition, is still usable. That key, you can push it into the ignition and it'll still run and start the car. And you can also open the car. As you know, they've got a removable manual key out the top if you have like a flat battery in your car or something like that and it won't open. So you can still use that key to manually open the car with the key like this, and it will turn the alarm off just with the key. And you can also use it to put it in and run the car. So the key is still usable, just not electronically. The lock button, the BMW button in the middle won't work, and the other buttons won't work as well. So electronically it's shot, but you can still use it as a manual key, both to start and run the car and also to lock and unlock the car.